Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lexi and today we're doing another pick a card. Today's pick a card, we are taking a look at what makes people fall in love with you. And today's pick a card is a collaboration with the lovely Princess Tasha. So shout out to Princess Tasha for reaching out to do this collaboration. It's spooky season, so I've been doing a lot of like shadow or Halloween themed, and I'll be continuing to do that. But I like that I've been able to do like a little bit of a boost video in the middle of that if you guys feel you want a more light-hearted reading. And I'm glad that this is a collaboration as well. If you haven't already checked out Princess Tasha's channel, I'll have her link in the description box. And of course I'll have the link to her side of the collaboration, as she's going to be taking a look at what is it about your reputation that inspires others. So like I said, I'll have the link in the description box to her side of the video, and then I will also have the link to her channel as well, so you can head over there, subscribe, show love. And yeah, once again, Tasha, thank you for reaching out to me to do this collaboration. And yeah, let's get in. So pile number one, you guys have the clear quartz. Pile number two, you guys have the amethyst apple. Let's get that nice and there we go. Pile number three, we have the carnelian. And pile number four, we have the turquoise. So see which crystal you are drawn to. The timestamps are going to be in the description box as usual, and I will see you guys at your timestamp. Hey pile one, welcome to your reading. So we are taking a look at what makes people fall in love with you. So you guys chose the clear quartz. I'm going to start with tarot and then we're going to move on to your oracle cards. I want to say as well, if you feel like you've never been in love or you have never experienced stuff like that, you can just take a look at this in regards to in the future and future timelines, or timelines that maybe you're already on and it's coming in, what it is about you that will make people fall in love with you. But obviously if you're in relationships or you've been in relationships and you feel like you've experienced people fall in love with you, then this will pertain to that as well. So pile number one, please. Spirit guides, tap me into the collective of my pile number ones. One thing I will say about you guys is that you've really lived a life. I feel like you've either gone through a lot or you've just had a very eventful life. I keep being shown the number 4 in numerology, which is ruled by Uranus, and you know, when we think of Uranus, it's like sudden shifts, sudden changes, and I'm thinking of that. I'm thinking of like a tornado and like whirlwind. So I don't know if maybe a certain phase in your life was very eventful, but there's almost this feeling like you guys have a lot of stories, and there's a level of depth that you guys have that I feel is very interesting to people, because I see people liking to listen to you, and I think sometimes the more people hear your stories or what you've got up to, your highs and your lows, I feel like that's something that makes people fall in love with you, because it's like there's this feeling about you guys where it's like you never know what you're gonna find. When I think of the crystal that you guys chose, it's very bumpy, there's lots of things kind of sticking out of it. It's like there's so many aspects to you, there's so many faces to you, you know, like when you have a diamond and it has all the faces, there's kind of like a vibe there of that. Like you've really maybe you're somebody that's been through a lot of spiritual journeys, maybe you're somebody that's constantly growing and evolving, alchemizing, shifting, changing. There's so many layers to you. There's this feeling of I could be with you for many years and still not necessarily know you, either because you're constantly shifting or because there's just so many layers, or maybe both, you know. There's a lot going on. Pile number one, what makes people fall in love with my pile number ones, please, spirit guides? What makes people fall in love with my pile number ones? What makes people fall in love? 7 of Swords, okay. Pile number one, what makes people fall in love with my pile number ones? The Emperor. I'm just hearing no judging. Like you're not somebody that, like, in life we're gonna have things we're not necessarily proud of at times, or you know, we may react in certain ways, especially when we're younger and we don't know any better. And there's almost this feeling from you guys of like a non-judgment vibe of like, it's almost like I'm the lion and the rabbit, like I'm the lion and the deer, like I'm both and you can be both, and as long as you have control over them, and you're able to balance them, then it's okay. There's like a vibe to that, and it's almost, and when I say that, I mean I'm my darkness and my light. So you may have had time periods where maybe you lived in your shadow, and you had to really battle with your shadow and tame it, the same way that you would have lived in your light for maybe a certain phase, and only your light, you know, which could have blinded you to some things, and maybe you had to battle and balance that to be able to see both. Because there's almost this feeling of I've gone through the darkness, I've gone through the light. I can see when somebody's acting out of their darkness. I can see when somebody's acting out of their shadow. I can see when somebody's just acting out of pure light. I can see that. And I can also see the duality and the balance. There's almost this feeling of like, I can see you. I really can see you. So there's a vibe of that. And it's almost like, I see somebody stepping towards you in a relationship and maybe wanting to hide something, or just like, this is something I'm embarrassed about, or this is something I'm insecure about, but it's like you see the divinity in it. And I feel like you're the type of person, like not a lot of people can get a lot of things past you. So I feel like you truly make people feel seen. You know, somebody could be super insecure about something, so they could be trying to what's the word? They could be trying to overcompensate over certain things. So like they could be insecure about I'm trying to think of something. I think of it the way I'm being described it, my granddad had a really hard upbringing, and he didn't have a lot of money, and he was very insecure about that. So he always made it a thing, like he would never swear. He was always very like very he'd act a certain way in front of people that like to kind of gain a level of respect, and he wouldn't swear, and he was very, you know, focused on those things. But he said later on it was him kind of like overcompensating for him not feeling worthy when he was young and how he grew up. And that I feel like you're the type of person, if you met somebody like that, you'd be able to see where that's coming from and see where that wound is coming from, or see when people are overcompensating in certain areas. So I feel like guards fall down with you, because to get close to you is to kind of bare your soul a little bit, which is what keeps people very bound to you. And I think that's what makes people fall in love, because it's like you really see me and you're not judging, and you know, you see my growth and there's nothing I can really hide. And being that vulnerable and open with someone, you know, it creates that level of depth there, and I feel like you do bring that out in people, which is really lovely. I also see that you guys are very protective over people that you love, and that's another thing that makes people fall in love with you, because I see people watching you be very, it could even just be your pets, you know, you could have like a cat, a dog, a rabbit, and you could be very protective and loving over them, because I see somebody witnessing somebody do that, and it's like I almost feel like my heart's feeling very full, which is really, really lovely. But also if you have siblings, or you have parents that you look after, or you have or it could even just be your friends as well, I just see you're very protective. You could be like mothers of your friend groups or fathers of your friend groups, and you know, they're responsible, and there is a vibe of that coming through. And I also feel you stand up for what's right as well, and I think that you're also able to see things coming from a mile away, very smart like that. And I think that's something that really impresses people, which then leads them to kind of fall in love with you, because it's like it's almost like I feel safe around you, to be honest with you. Like I feel safe, like you're very smart. I keep being shown the Matrix. Yeah, I keep being, do you know in the Matrix where they have the long black coats and stuff, and they can see through the Matrix, they're very wise to it. There's a feeling of you looking at life like that. I'm almost being shown like Kung Fu or like Taekwondo, or like those practices where I'm moving my body in a certain way, like nothing's stopping me, you know, it's that type of vibe. Pile number one. What makes people fall in love with my pile number ones, please? We have the Three of Cups. What makes people fall in love with my pile number ones? I feel like when people come into your safety net, and when I say safety nets, because one thing that makes people fall in love with you is that you make them feel safe to be vulnerable, safe to express their emotions, safe to be themselves, and you don't judge. But also with the Three of Cups, there's almost this level of unity where I feel like when people come into your circle, you see them as an extension of yourself. So it's like the way you treat yourself is how you treat others. And I feel like no matter whether people, because you can fall in love as a friendship too, you can, you can have love for friends and stuff. And I see people coming around you and it's almost like I feel like family. Like I feel like you treat people as if they're like a sibling to you, or they're just part of your family very very quickly. Like you really do love people that come into your circle. So maybe some of you guys are cautious of who you bring in, but I do see that there's this level of unity and love and family bond that I'm picking up from you. Even if you don't have a big family, I feel like you treat people that come into your circle as family, and you could also treat your pets as family as well. And it's another feeling of like awe, and like I feel like that's something that makes people fall in love with you. You also include people as well. Like I can see that you guys can be very selfless like that and include people. Like say now you had a partner that had children, but those children also had siblings that weren't part of your family. You'd like include them. There's almost this feeling of togetherness and unity, like we're together, we're a pack, and I feel very very held. It's very beautiful. I don't know why I just keep being shown a scenario where like you've gotten in a relationship with somebody that already has a child that isn't yours, and then that child on the other parent side has other siblings that aren't even in the family unit. But it's like if I'm treating you like my child, then I'm gonna treat the siblings the same. So it's like you'll get the same Christmas presents as them, because it's like I don't want to just give you, like you think of things like that. I feel like you're selfless like that, and you're very understanding as well. But that there was a scenario like that coming up for someone, whoever that may pertain to. If you don't have a scenario like that, it's fine, but there's just like a lot of love. And yeah, I also see that a lot of you guys, there's a strong reference around kids. So some of you guys have kids, or I feel like somebody may have watched you with kids, and there's a lot of love there about how you deal with kids, how you look after kids, if you are a parent, how you nurture your children. There's a lot of love and respect there that makes people fall in love with you too. You could be somebody that has kids, and that's something that people do adore and love about you, and what makes people fall in love with you is the way you treat your children as well. There's a deep connection to divinity and source that I'm picking up here, pile number one. So I feel like some of you guys may be connected to spirit, but I feel like that just radiates through you, and I think that's what makes people fall in love, because you see people as a reflection of you. It's like you and me, I am you, like you understand that. So there's a strong surge of divinity running through you that you may connect with in work or your career, or it could just be connected to your heart space. Pile number one, what makes people fall in love with my pile number ones, please? Yeah, High Priestess, as I was talking about the divinity, yeah, I feel like you have a very beautiful connection to the divine, to source. You have the Wheel of Fortune at the back of the deck as well. There's birds jumping on my roof, so apologies for the noise. Yeah, I feel like you also plant seeds of consciousness in people as well, meaning that you help people see things from a higher perspective. And I feel like you get people, I don't know if you guys work in like, there's this feeling of like yoga and therapy, but then there's also like psychology, again, therapy, it's like counseling and things like that, but there's this feeling of like you're making me see an emotion that I saw as negative from a different point of view, and it's helping me grow and expand. You've planted a seed of consciousness for me to see something on a deeper level, so now I see something on a deeper level. Like how sometimes people can be ignorant maybe to pets, because it's like, oh, it's a pet, but then when you reach a level of consciousness, it's like, no, like you're much more than just this, like you're much more than that. yeah, like there's a vibe of that, like seeing the divinity and seeing the depth and everything. I feel like you hold up a very beautiful mirror there, which then caters to other people's self-love as well, because there's a lot of respect in that. I feel like you're the type of person to give people space as well. You know, sometimes in love people can be a little bit codependent and they don't like when somebody has space, or they don't like it when somebody's falling back a little bit to grow. Sometimes people may not like that. There's a feeling of you guys of understanding and giving people space to grow and evolve and work through things, which I think is really lovely, and not taking it as an insult to yourself. Sometimes people can do that, and I don't feel that you do that at all. It's like, oh, you know, you're going through something. I see this a lot with friends, like there's a lot of space given, like, oh, you're going through this, I'm not going to judge if you can't show up right now, that's okay. Like there's a lot of space given and a lot of love, and I think a lot of people respect that. Why do we have the Wheel of Fortune? I feel like as well, you come across as a ride or die because I feel like you genuinely do care, and that's where people feel really safe. It's like, you know, I say that quote where it's like, you want to be around people that speak your name in a room full of opportunities. I feel like you're that type of person. I feel like you're the type of person where if you're in a relationship or just connected to anyone, you'll put them on, and you'll put anyone around them on as well. It's like, okay, this would, you know, you're looking for a job and I've got jobs going here, let me sort that out for you. You know, you've got this going on, I've found this can help. And like, you're one of those people as well. You may have some fire placements, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, but I am also picking up some water elements here. So Cancer, Scorpio and Pisces, but I keep being shown Gemini in my head as well, because I keep thinking of like lots of information and my mind's kind of going like the Matrix numbers. So I feel like you guys are quite intelligent. I don't think that's what makes people fall in love with you, but I do think people see you as intelligent, and there's a lot of knowledge, or maybe a lot of wisdom that you hold that people look up to you for. What makes people fall in love with my pile ones? What makes people fall in love? Ooh, we have Medusa. Jealousy leads to downfall. Interesting. And that's coming right under the Seven of Swords as well. I feel like people have at times tried to, and this is in life, I feel like people have tried to kind of like dim your light. I want the card in view, but I don't want it to cover. There we go, that's okay. Yeah, I feel like you've had people that have really tried to project onto you, or people that have really tried to tear you down, or people that have, there's this feeling of like truth will out, of like, I see you standing there in your truth, but also with your own darkness, and knowing like, yes, I've been through this and I've been through this. And then I see somebody almost like trying to chuck things at your light, but it's almost like truth will out, like your light stands and the truth always tells on itself. So I feel like sometimes you may be in scenarios, because you've got nothing to prove, and I think you know that. So I think sometimes in scenarios, people like, because I see you being in scenarios where you may not look like the good guy, or situations where, you know, when you're in a group of people and you're more silent, or you only speak when you feel the need. So there's almost this feeling of like, you could then be easily projected onto, whereas somebody could be screaming from the rooftops and loud in that room going, I'm the best person here, I'm the goodest person here. And I feel like you have a lot to brag about, and you could easily brag, but you don't, you know what I mean? Because confidence is quiet sometimes. And I feel like that's where I'm feeling truth will out. Like, I feel like when people may have tried to chuck things on you, I feel like it's almost, it's fallen back on them. And I think the reason it's coming through in this reading is because I feel like the closer people get to you, it's almost like they see a little bit of how you work, and it's like, oh no, this person genuinely is very loving, this person's genuinely, you know, very sweet. Whereas, you know, maybe they could have been told, oh, that person's very blunt, or that person's very cold, but in actuality you're not. And that's where I'm hearing truth will out, like it's a frequency. There's something about that coming through. Pile number 1, please, spirit guides. You could even be in a relationship with someone, and you know there's maybe people in like a friend group, or there could have been people like family wise that may have tried to paint you into a different light, but there's this feeling of truth will out, like somebody sees that, and it almost makes people love you more, because it's like, you could have really snapped there and you didn't, or you could have really chucked things back there and you didn't. Like, So there's a feeling of that for whoever that resonates for. Pile 1, please, Spirit Guides. Pile number 1. What makes people fall in love? We have the Oracle, seek wisdom and guidance from elders. Again, like I said, I feel like there's just a lot of wisdom you have, and I think people look up to you. There's almost this feeling of like, if I was to go into business with someone, I'd want it to be this person. If I was to have children with somebody, I'd want it to be this person. There's a vibe of that. Let me get the cards because they fell. There was like 5 of them that just fell on the floor. But there's definitely a vibe of that. I do feel like you have, I want to say, divinity in your bones. That's what I want to say. Some of you guys may work with spirit. Oh, I was only going to pull 3, but 4's come out. That's okay. We also have the Black Cat. Your luck will change. Yeah, I feel like you put people on with the Wheel of Fortune here. I feel like you put people on. You help people see things from a higher perspective. You revamp things. You know, it's just like, you know, you may be a house with someone, but you're able to see the potential in it, and you're able to make things look better. You know, sorry, I'm just trying to make sure that that's all there. I feel like you're the type of person to make things look better than, you know, before you touched it, if that makes sense. You're able to see the potential, you're able to see the depth. I see that a lot. And I feel like people, because there's something about watching your creations, like watching your painting, watch you make music, watch you write a book, watch you in your career and have these ideas. It's making me fall in love with you because you're expressing parts of yourself, and it's almost like I'm getting to know your brain and you by watching you do this. So if you do have creative outlets, and it could be something as little as interior design, it could be something as little as writing a book, like writing little poems, and you don't even publish them, but they're just in your house. It could be the way you arrange flowers, you know, whatever way you use that creation. I think that's a way that people are like, oh, like that makes me feel close to you. And I think that's what makes people fall in love, because it's like part of you being stamped into a physical manifestation. And yeah, I think that's something that people love. We also have the Golem, a close friend acts in your behalf. I think as well, another reason that people fall in love with you is sometimes when we think of friends, a lot of the times, like, they can also be acquaintances, but I feel like you're really a friend. Like, the meaning of friend is what you are. Even in a relationship, I feel like you always come out and show out as a helping hand. I feel like you're just very, very giving, very loving, and very trustworthy as well. There's almost this feeling like, again, and it's, you're very loyal, but you don't need to say it. You just are, you know? I don't need to tell you how loyal I am. You'll just see. You know, no one will say a bad word of you in front of me. It won't happen. And if they do, watch out. Like, I'm gonna prove it. I'm not gonna say it. And that's where it's like truth will out. Like, people talk, and sometimes people can get swayed by words, but you're like that stamp of energy where it's like, no, this is, I'm just going to walk in my truth. And I think that's something that people respect, which then leads them to fall in love with you. In the back of the deck, I'm not shocked, we have the Shield. You are safe from harm. I think you're very protective over your own. It's almost like a lion protective over its pride. Yeah. And it's like, when you're doing good, I feel good. When you're winning, I'm winning. And that's where people feel safe with you then, you know? So yeah, pile number 1, that is what I have for you guys. I really hope that you enjoyed the reading. I'll have the link to part 2 over on Princess Tasha's channel. I'll have the link in my description box. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'm sending you guys all of my love. I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching. Hey pal 2, welcome to your reading. So we are taking a look at what makes people fall in love with you. So you guys chose the Amethyst Apple. I'm going to start with tarot, and then we're going to move on to your oracle cards. So let's get in. So pile number 2, please, Spirit Guides. Pile number 2, tap me into the collective of my pile number 2s, please. Tap me into the collective of my pile number 2s. What makes people fall in love? What makes people fall in love with my pile number 2s? I feel like you're somebody that's very pure. Very pure. I feel feel like that also may be some people's first impression of you too, because there's like a sweetness coming through. What makes people fall in love with my pile number 2s? What makes people fall in love with my pile number 2s? We have the Queen of Cups. What makes people fall in love? I see somebody witnessing your sensitivity emotionally, or witnessing your expression of emotions. And the more I fall in love, the more I respect it and I realize how grand it is. Like when I'm first around some, like, okay, so now I meet you and I'm falling in love with you. When I first meet you and when I'm getting to know you, it's almost like I'm seeing you as like a little deer. Like a baby deer, and there's a sweetness and a softness, and it's like, you're so sweet, you're so sweet. But then as I get to know you and everything's unraveling, these emotions, they're not like these little twinkly teardrops, they're like tsunamis, and everything has a purpose. Like, this is the way you express, you're very in touch with your emotions. And then it's almost like mirroring back to me, where I'm like, where am I not in touch with my emotions, and where do I have a projection of why I can't feel this? And then it's almost like it's causing me to feel deep into things, and then I'm maybe releasing things, or I'm crying and I'm realizing the weight, and you know, purging and all of that is, and then it's almost like, oh, this is so powerful. This is actually extremely powerful for you to hold an emotion like that and express it, especially when you can do it in such a light way, because it's almost like, to look at you, it's just like I'm almost picturing like a little fairy with a little tiny raindrop. But then when I'm in the feeling of it, I understand that that's not what it is at all. And then I almost feel like this huge dragon, you know, like tsunamis, and it's like, wow. And then it's like, okay, I have a lot more respect, and that makes me fall in love with you, because it's like the depth of your emotions and the depth of which you can feel, I'm in awe of, or the depth in which you can display your emotions, I'm in awe of. And then it's making me feel, you know, it's connecting me as deep, because I'm going as deep, you know. And yeah, that's something that I'm picking up strongly. And I do feel like the people that fall in love with you will be equally emotionally as deep, so they'll be able to see you from that perspective too, or they'll be open to activating that part of themselves, and honoring that part of themselves too. But I do feel like a lot of the people that you'll draw in that do fall in love with you may have a lot of water in their chart. If they do not have Cancer, Scorpio and Pisces in their chart, they're just going to be very connected to their emotions, or they will have a level of emotional intelligence, because there's a vibe of that, because they're able to see you, you know. Pile number 2. What makes people fall in love with my pile number 2s, please? What makes people fall in love with my pile number 2s? We have the King of Wands. What makes people fall in love with my pile 2s? Six of Coins. What makes people fall in love with my pile number 2s? You may be quite short in stature as well. I don't know why I keep thinking to some of you guys may be small in stature. The reason I'm thinking that, it just came to my brain. I remember in a pick a card a while ago, I don't know what prompted me to say my height, but I'd said my height, and I was like, because I'm 4'9", it said, oh, I'm 4'9", and then somebody commented and was like, are you a goblin, or like, are you a smurf or something like that? I was like, no, I'm just small. Like, I'm just small, that's it. And that just came into my head. So some of you guys may be quite small in stature, or it could be that you guys come across very sweet looking, or very young, a very youthful appearance, or just very sweet. There's like a pure feeling here. When I think of the apple, I'm thinking of like Snow White. She's quite sweet, wasn't she? So yeah, let me just cover up the girly on here. We have the World as well. And the back of the deck, we have the 8 of Wands. But again, you don't have to be quite small. It's just something that's coming through. Like deers aren't very small really, are they? But you know, they're cute. But anyway, let's get in. So King of Wands, 6 of Coins, and the World. Okay, yeah, there's almost this feeling of like, what makes people fall in love with you, I almost feel like I want to protect you. It's like almost like you are the sea urchin and I want to be the shell. But then there's almost this feeling like you could protect yourself, but I kind of want to do it for you. There's like a vibe of that. And it doesn't matter what gender in regards to protecting you. Like, you could be somebody that you know, is very open and vulnerable in regards to your emotions and your heart space, but there's almost this feeling of you guys knowing how to protect yourself, but it's like, I want to protect that person anyway, I want to protect their emotions. There's a vibe of that coming through. Like, I keep being taken to like sea creatures, like I'm thinking of a starfish and it has all the little tentacles that help it feel its way and like, you know, feel the ground beneath it and stuff. I'm picking that up, so there's almost this like sensitive energy here. But like I said, anything that is able to like live within the currents of the ocean, they're very strong. But maybe to look at it from the outside, it's like, oh, that's very sweet and cute. But usually, especially when it comes to people seeing people with displays of emotions like that as very soft, they're usually the strongest people. And I think that's what makes people fall in love as well, is I'm looking at you like in the beginning it's like little starfish or something like that, but then as I get closer, you're coming through then as the King of Wands, because the closer I get to you, is like, oh, you're clued on. And this is where it comes in, it's like, you're really smart, and this is what's making me fall in love with you, because it's like, you are smart, you're very clued on. You're not just clued on to this world, but I feel like you guys may be clairsentient, because it's like you're picking up on things that other people wouldn't think of. Like, how did you pick that up? How did you know this? How did you pick that up? And it's like, you're aware of things. And the reason I'm thinking short in stature as well, but again, you don't have to be. It's just that I'm seeing a crowd of people who are very obviously like people, and then it's almost like rushing through, and like somebody rushing through, but they're crouched down so you can't see them, and they're able to make their way through unharmed. So there's like a vibe of that. I'm thinking of a sea urchin going into a shell and making its way unharmed. So again, it could even be that you guys come across as sweet, but then behind that, I'm not saying you're not sweet, but there's more to you, and behind that there's a lot more, and people may count you out, but it's almost like, I'm not going to jump up and be like, look at me, I'm a lion, look at me, I'm this. You can project whatever you want onto me and I'll just move accordingly. The ones that get me. And I feel like there's almost this feeling of like secret society, like when I'm falling in love with you and I'm in your circle, like I get you, I feel like I'm in the know, and I wouldn't have been in the know had I not come into the shell with you. So there's kind of like a vibe of that too. Some of you guys could be into like, you know, occult work and, you know, connect with spirit and stuff like that. Others of you, I'm picking up some Scorpio from some of you guys as well. You're very aware of things. I feel like you peep things. I feel like you can tell. You are so connected to your own emotions and different feelings that when somebody's wearing a mask, you can tell it straight away. So you're able to see through that mask. It's like, oh, you're feeling insecure, so you're trying to act hard right now. Or you're saying you're hard because you're not wanting to display emotion. But I can see through that, and you're actually hiding your vulnerability. You're scared to you know, show your vulnerability, so I see that. So it's almost like, to know you and to love you is to see things through your eyes, and that then allows me to really see you and gives me a level of respect for you, because I see something about you having a partner and being in a environment with a bunch of people, and this partner may be good at communicating with people and good at like speaking to people, but things could happen that go over that person's head and could go over a lot of people's head, but you're aware of it. And then you're able to like later on be like, did you notice that this person said this and then this person did this, or did you notice this? And they're like, how did you know that? Because, you know, to look, it could just, you know, you could have just been there smiling away, not giving anything away, but you're able to pick up all of these things. And that's where I feel like people would fall in love with you, because it's like, wow, you know, how would you see that? It's almost like you've got to, you know, when you go to watch a 3D film and you have to wear the 3D glasses to see, you know what I mean, the third dimension of it. It's like you have like a secret formula of glasses that you're able to see things. It's quite interesting. I would also say that your passion is something that is very admirable and something that makes people fall in love with you too. So if you're very passionate about, you know, the planet, I feel like that's something that makes people fall in love with you. If you're passionate about your career goals and, you know, things that you're working on like that, I feel like that's something that makes people fall in love with you. And I feel like there's almost this feeling of being passionate about like injustices and bringing justice to people, or it's almost like to talk. I see you seeing people's inner child. Like I see you seeing people's like sensitivity and emotions, and I feel like you're able to bring that out, and I feel like you're very passionate in connecting to that level of people. It's like, if I'm going to connect with you, it's not going to be surface level, it's going to be that deep. And I feel like whoever you're around, I feel like you're able to pry and bring that out. You're able to hold space and connect and bring that part of them out. So it's like, I'm seeing like a bunch of shells, you're able to coax the sea urchin out and make it feel safe. You're very good at doing it. And in a very soft way too, like not in a judgmental way. It's like, no, if I'm speaking to you, I'm speaking to you, not your shell. If I'm speaking to you, I'm speaking to you and not your mask. And I think that's something that makes people fall in love as well, because it's like, oh, okay. And I think, you know, sometimes people can go into relationships and very rarely become emotionally vulnerable to people, especially if they're in a relationship for status, or if they're in a relationship, you know, to boost their ego. Sometimes people won't reveal those parts of themselves, whereas you, it's like, oh, we're in a relationship, I'm not being in a relationship with your shell, I want to be in a relationship with what's in the shell, so you need to bring that out, which then creates this very strong emotional tie. And I feel like you're able to help people activate that within themselves and grow into that within themselves, which is really, really beautiful. I also see that you guys are very caring as well, but I feel like you hold space a lot emotionally. I think that's where it comes in. I feel like you hold space emotionally. Sometimes you'll visit psychics, or you'll visit like healers and stuff, and just being in their presence, you want to cry because it's healing and things are being purged out. That does happen sometimes. And I feel like you guys may have that presence as well. But then there's also the presence of love. Like, I almost feel like if I'm to come into your home, I can see your it's almost like I can see you if I come into your home. Like, I can see who you are. Or like, if you create things, similar to pile number one, it's like, if you create things, if you have creative outlets, it's like I'm able to see fragments of you through that, you know. There's something about the art and music and all of that here, because I'm picking up some Pisces energy, but it as well, and this has come up before, there's a vibration and a healing energy to you. Like, when you cook, you put love into it, so when people eat it, it's like they respect it, like they can feel there's something clairsentient, like I'm cooking with love, so you'll experience love when I'm cooking for you, or I'm, you know, baking these cakes with love and meaning, and it's like you're giving that to somebody and they can feel that, you know. You're very much in the energetic realm. If that doesn't make sense to you, I feel like this might not be your pile, because you're in the energetic realm. I feel like you know what I mean. Everything has a code and everything has a specific energy, so anything you touch and anything that you create, it's coming from love, it's coming with your depth, so people then are able to feel that, especially if they're responsive to it, which is really beautiful. And I also feel like you guys have been protected, because I'm thinking of Snow White when the huntsman was like telling her to run off because of the evil queen. I feel like some of you guys have been protected. Your depths have protected you from people getting into relationships with people that didn't fully see you, because I think you give a lot energetically, on a healing level, on an emotional level, on a spiritual level for some of you guys, and I feel like people have to really see it to respect it and understand it, because otherwise you're pulling a lot of weight but they might not see it. They may feel it and be drawn to you, but they don't understand it, so they can't respect it and they can't pull it back, and that then creates something that's one-sided, and then people can't truly see you. And I feel like you may have had connections like that, you know, may have hurt you or played with your insecurities, but I feel like you've been protected to be in relationships with people that truly see your depth like that and your emotions like that, because I think that you guys have a lot of love for the people around you, and I feel like you tap into them, you know, very, very deeply. And I think that when people step towards you, if they weren't growing and evolving, they'll start to being around you. I almost feel like you activate that healing within people. Could come as triggers for some people, but that's a different video for a different day. But with the world card, it's almost like I'm advancing with you, like I'm able to see things from a higher perspective with you. It's like the tree is growing because you're watering me, and I'm able to see things differently, and it's like I'm able to move on, because it's all the emotions that maybe I was harboring there. I'm just you mirroring your way back to me. It's helping me understand how I can purge and release these feelings and let them go and make room for more. And I feel like a lot of people though, that will fall in love with you and step towards you, they'll understand that and would have purged and let go before stepping towards you. Whereas I feel like at sometimes you may have drawn broken birds in that needed healing, and I feel like you've learned that balance. Because I think you've created a protective shell to keep yourself safe, because I feel like people have been drawn to that healing nature but not knowing what to do with it, and that's where I see you're very protective. Whereas I feel like the people that are going to fall in love with you, they're coming in as a shell to kind of protect that within you, and be that shell to protect that healing energy, because it's like, I understand that this is sacred and I need to protect it, just like nature understands that sage and is, you know, sacred and wants to protect it with a shell, or just like nature knows that, you know, a rose is sacred, it creates thorns to protect it. And I feel like that's what comes in then for you guys. I feel like the people that fall in love with you are very balanced and understand the way that you move. There's a strong level of protection here, and not because you're weak. And I think the more people fall in love with you, they realize there's nothing weak about you at all, and how emotions are strength, you know. So let's pull your oracle cards. Pile number 2, please, spirit guides. What makes people fall in love with my pile number 2s, please? What makes people fall in love with my amethyst apple pile? We have the caduceus. You will receive news from afar. Some of you guys may be connected to spirit. Some of you guys may bring messages from the divine through that heals and activates people. We have the earth. Utilize logic, reason, and common sense. Pile number... It's almost like my humility goes out the window, in the sense of like, emotions that I may have been embarrassed to express before. With you, I want to express them. You help me honor them, and I want to honor them for you, so you can see my expression of my feelings, and bringing that out makes people fall in love with you then, because it's putting them in the frequency it feels. The hand of fate, forces beyond your control intervene. Yeah, I think you've been heavily protected from people that didn't quite get the way you moved and would have ended up disrespecting it because they didn't get it, or would just come in very drawn to you but didn't know how to work with your energy. And it was almost like, I like the healing, this is bringing me, and you're worth more than just being a healer to somebody, you know. And then we have the gate. A barrier keeps you from your goal. Interesting. Okay, so let's move these. In the back of the deck you have the serpent. A sly and subtle approach is needed. I feel like you may... Some people may even sometimes project onto you that you're sly. I don't think that you're sly. I think you're observant and you know how to make moves, because I feel like maybe in the past you may have been very open, like a sea urchin out of the shell, and just very open, and I feel like you would have learned maybe the hard way that there are sharks above. So it's almost like, okay, I need to move this certain way, and that's where I'm being shown somebody crouching down and running through a crowd, because it's like, I can move undetected, and I'm going to learn how to do things in more of a sly way, not to use it against people, but to use it as a level of protection, or to use it as like that shell going over me for protection as well, keeping that kind of poker face, if that makes sense. You will receive news from afar. I also feel that because you guys are super connected to spirit, I feel like when people do fall in love with you, I think there's a lot of serendipitous moments where spirit may come to them and be like, I feel like you guys are quite connected to spirit, because I feel like who you'd fall in love with would be quite connected to spirit, because there's this vibe of like spirit's coming to me to give me messages to let me know you're here, or I'm just having psychic dreams, or there's something very serendipitous, like they could have gone to a psychic and a psychic could have said you're going to have a strong connection, and when it happens you're going to see butterflies, and then somebody meets you and there's butterflies there. And these things do happen. Sometimes when I say this, people are like, oh, that's far-fetched, these things don't happen. These things do happen. My friend Nai, shout out Nai if you're watching, she hadn't been in a relationship for a really long time, and you know, she was like, you know, when I meet the, you know, right person, she's like, I'm just going to know, and I'm going to have like symbols that it's, you know, it's gonna happen or whatever. And when she met the person she's still with, who I believe is her soulmate, they've been together for years now, the night that they met, they were on a date, and they were just sitting in this kind of like park thing. There's like loads of trees and stuff around, and out of nowhere all these fireworks just went up above their head, like, and she was just like, no, I just knew that was my person, because that was insane, you know, how it just went above our head. It was crazy. And these things do happen. They're not far-fetched, you know. And I feel like things like that may happen when people are drawn to you, because I think that you have very intimate connections with people, very deep connections with people. Utilize logic, reason, and common sense. There's almost this feeling if somebody wanted to protect you, so your inner child can just play and create. There's a vibe of that coming through. It's almost like you draw in a lot of divine masculine people. It doesn't matter the gender, but I feel like you draw in people that are more logical sometimes and earthy. And I feel like you're more the creative, soulful, and I think the tie is the emotions. But I do feel you're very, very, very clued on, and I think that you prove people wrong a lot of the time. Like I said, you could look very innocent, or you could be very small, or you could, you know, you could be super attractive and people may think, oh, there's nothing beyond that, but there is. I feel like you prove people wrong a lot, you know. And I think other people's ignorance sometimes protects you too, because it's like, I'm glad you can't see all of me. That's a good thing, you know. I see that as well. The hand of fate, forces beyond your control intervene. Yeah, I feel like when people are drawn to you, I think there's a lot of spiritual guidance, and I do think this happens even with people that maybe you've had karmic connections with. I feel like maybe they've been drawn to you for like healing and maybe moments of serendipity, or like feelings that you've maybe activated within them. There's almost this feeling of like a soulful tie, because I feel like there may be people from your past that there wasn't necessarily love, but there was like a healing connection here, and I see people look at you like that was a soulmate or something like that. I do see people like that with you guys, feeling drawn to you there. Or people may have a lot of dreams about you, or you know, you could even be like a guide to people in the other realms, because that can happen sometimes, and you may help people that you've met in the physical heal on the astral plane, so then they could have dreams about you, and then it's like, oh, that person was in my dream, you know, like for a reason, like whatever, and you were helping them maybe heal or something. So that's another thing. I feel like people are guided to you for reasons, because you have such a healing vibe to you. And then we have the barrier keeps you from your goal. I see a lot of people as well, they've been very drawn to you, but they didn't know why. Something just wasn't getting off the ground. And I do feel, again, that was like almost your higher self or your energy protecting you from people that just wanted to come beyond the gate to pick the flowers and run off with them, or not really respect the flowers but just wanted them to grab them instead of actually nurturing them. And I feel like your higher self, and it's almost like your energy as well, it knows when to open itself up and open the gates up, and I think you've protected yourself in that way, of who to let in or who to know what, you know. It's like, you can know this about me, you can see this side of me. Yeah, so pile 2, that is what I have for you guys. I really hope that you enjoyed your reading. Hit the thumbs up and comment down below if you did. I will have the link to part 2 and Princess Tasha's channel in my description box. You can head over there. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching. Hey pals, for you, welcome to your reading. So we are taking a look at what makes people fall in love with you. So you guys chose the carnelian crystal. I'm going to start with tarot, and then we're going to move on to your oracle cards. So let's get in. So pile number 3, please, spirit guides. Pile number 3. I'm sure there's like a Meghan Trainor song and she sings untouchable, untouchable. I always forget the lyric, but I know that verse like from somewhere. It's probably been on TikTok or something, and I'm sure she says untouchable, untouchable. So there's this feeling of like you're like missed, you're hard to grab. Pile number 3, what makes people fall in love with my pile number 3s? What makes people fall in love? Okay, so we have death. What makes people fall in love with my pile number 3s? What makes people fall in love with my pile number 3s? King of Cups. What makes people fall in love with my pile number 3s? I'm going to cover the death card up just in case, because it's a bit of a graphic imagery, and I just want to make sure, because honestly, YouTube is so strict at the moment. It's insane. But yeah, death, King of Cups. We also have the 6 of Cups. Am I putting that upright or upside down? Upright, okay. Death, King of Cups, 6 of Cups. One more card, please, spirit guides. One more card. Some of you guys may have very deep set eyes. You may have a lot of Scorpio placements, a lot of Cancer placements. You could also have a lot of Capricorn as well in your chart. Pile number 3, please, Spirit Guides. What makes people fall in love with my pile 3s? And we have the Chariot as well. There's something very bold about you. Like, you're definitely missed because it's like you walk into a room, you're felt and you're seen. We have the Queen of Wands at the back of the deck. Yeah, there's something very passionate about you. I think that you're somebody that's very bold. I don't think that you're somebody that beats around the bush. I think you're very upfront. You may have a lot of fire in your chart. So that's Eros, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Eros. But yeah, I'm definitely seeing that because there's almost this feeling of like a firecracker. I think that you guys are very passionate in the way you speak. I think you're passionate about people around you. You may be somebody that's very talkative, or you just may have a lot of ideas, because I keep being shown like, I don't know if you have this candy everywhere else, but you know, Starbursts, if you don't, they're just like very fruity, you know, like juice. It's like juice is bursting from them. They're like very sweet, like tutti fruity candies, and there's a vibe of that. Like, I know when you're here. You could also have a very bold physical appearance as well. You could have like facial features or body features that it's like, oh, that's this person, you know. You could be very curvy, you could have very big muscles, you could have very big lips, or you could have like a very refined Cupid's bow. You could have like a very like upturned nose, or you could have like a very like wide nose. There could be something distinctive about your nose. Again, the eyes, and eyebrows as well. You could have very thick eyebrows. Your hair could be very big, or you could have like no hair, and that's the statement. Or you could have color, like certain color to your hair. You could do your hair in really cool styles. Like, there's something like you're interesting. I want to know more about you. You're creative. You're like a walking piece of art. I think that you guys are very attractive, and I think that you guys just initially physically stand out, which is also really revved and pushed by your aura and the fire that you have. You know what I mean? There's something very like, this is a statement. Like, my hair is a statement, my face is a statement, you know, my body's a statement. Like, there's something about that. My clothes are a statement, my makeup's a statement. It's almost like the way you express yourself is maybe through your appearance, and maybe you change that up a lot, you know, like how Rihanna would always like change her hair and her look depending on what era she had and stuff. And you have celebrities and they'll have like a whole era and style for like each, you know, like Miley Cyrus did it as well. There's a vibe of that as well coming through. There's almost this feeling like when somebody changes their hair or somebody changes the way they're dressing, it's almost like I know they're going through a shift and a change, and it's like there's going to be a whole other version of them unlocked, sort of thing. And it's making me fall in love, because it's like, and I was saying this for pile number 2, but pile 2s didn't come, or was it pile 1s? Theirs didn't come across in this way. This came through creating and like designing homes and things, but yours is coming through like, it's on me, like tattoos. You may have a lot of tattoos that symbolize things. Like, I'm seeing who you are and the creations of you and everything that you're doing and how you're expressing yourself. And that to me makes me feel close to you, and it's inspiring me, and then it's making me fall in love with you because it's like you're original and unique, you know? Strong Aries energy for a lot of you guys. Some strong Aries energy here. And I would also say Aquarius as well. I'm picking up some Aquarian energy, Aquarian and Gemini. King of Cups, Six of Cups, the Chariot. Another thing about you is that you ride for people. Like, you really do ride for people. I think you're authentic in it's kind of like what you see is what you get. I'm authentic. And it's everything's at face value. Like, if I'm annoyed, I'll tell you to your face. If I'm upset, I'll tell you to your face. And it's almost like you presenting yourself in that way, it's making me fall in love, because it's like, I'm learning a lot from you. I'm inspired by you, and I'm drawn to you for that, you know? And there's almost this feeling of somebody being in a relationship with you and you making them a better person by like pointing things out to them. Like, I see somebody falling in love with you because of the way you're like I see you going, did you know you do this? You are doing this maybe because this is a shadow trait, and you should maybe try this because you shouldn't be hiding that away. And it's almost like you help people become that too. It's like you're an activator. You're like the sun, you're like the light, and it's almost like you activate people to do that too. And I think that's what makes people fall in love with you, because it's like, you're inspiring me, and it's making me want to shine bright too. It's almost like you're making me a better person, like that. You're inspiring me to do that, and we want to be in relationships with people that inspire us, and I think that's something that you do. But for attention to detail, you may have some Virgo placements as well, because I'm seeing you like analyze things. You may have like Mercury in Virgo, your moon in Virgo, maybe with it being on your ascendant as well, you could like view the world in that way and analyze the world in that way. So you could have a Virgo rising as well. But yeah, there's some Virgo coming through here. Fire signs: Aries, Leo and Sag, Aquarius and Gemini, and then Virgo as well, because there's something like mercurial about you guys as well. I think that you're also quite connected to your inner child in a very flamboyant and beautiful way. Like I see somebody moving into a house and somebody saying like, okay, you should get this room sorted first because this should be priority, and you're like, no, like I want to do this first, or I want to try this out first. It's almost like, and I feel like you're the type to flex that as well. Like, why should we do things this way? Let's do it this way. This is where the Aquarian energy is coming through. It's like society's saying we should do this, but I think we should do that. There's almost like a rebellious nature. And I think that's something that makes people fall in love with you as well, because it's like, it's almost like you tailor people's frequency. Like, why are you playing by the rules? Who said that you have to do that? And then it's like, well, it's just something that people do, and it's like, it's not what I do. And then it makes people think like, maybe I should jump out of this box, you know, maybe I should. So I feel like you help people remove projections off society or others or parents off them, to really stand in their truth and really connect to their inner child, to do things their own way and tap into their own individuality. And I think that's something, again, that makes people fall in love. You really do activate people, which is really, really beautiful. I also see that you're a powerhouse as well. There is kind of this feeling of like, don't argue with my pal threes, because it's like they're going to come up with facts, receipts, and it's almost like sometimes I could get irritated, but I love it at the same time. It's like, I hate that you're right, sort of thing. Like, I feel like you're kind of like that. You could be very good at like debates and things as well. Like, I see you guys debating things, and then people getting frustrated because like I see like one of you guys in like in a relationship, and your partner's kind of sitting back watching you, and they could have like a friend or someone that's a bit of a know-it-all, and then you just come with receipts to the point this person's like getting frustrated because you keep coming with receipts and you're not backing down. And I just see somebody loving that and like laughing, like, yeah, don't try and argue with my pal number threes, like they're super smart, like don't. There's this headstrong vibe that I'm picking up here as well, that makes people fall in love with you. Like, there's a humorous vibe here too. And I think you have such a polarity where you can be super serious and super fun, because I see that people, like, I'm seeing laughter. Like, you may have like a very dry humor, or you may tell stories, because I'm seeing somebody who's very, like, I'm seeing someone talking with their hands. You may have like Mercury and Leo, but I'm seeing somebody being able to really tell stories and be very inviting. Like, you're not just telling a story, like you're proper telling like a whole movie. And the way you're able to tell a story, like somebody could say it and it could be very mundane, but the way that you say it, there's just so much, it's like a burst of flavor, and it's like I'm feeling the emotions you're feeling. Like, it's like I'm in the room. You're able to make, you know, sometimes when people try to tell a joke or they try to say something that was funny to them, and it's like the other person doesn't laugh because they weren't there, so it's like, oh, you had to be there. You're the type of person that can tell it again in which it would be funny to people because of your attention to detail and that fire, and that there's almost like a dramatic flair to you, like a flamboyant flair to you. So it's like you're able to tell that story in a very theatrical way in which people feel like they were there. And that could also be the way that you express feelings to people or express yourself to people, and that's something that makes people fall in love. You could also be somebody that romanticizes your life, and I feel like maybe you do that for the people around you too, and that's another thing that makes people fall in love with you. But there's something theatrical, like there's something flamboyant that it's like I could listen to you tell a story all day, or I just like the way you express things. I like the way that you talk. And there's such passion in the way that you speak. I just see somebody really loving that about you and really being drawn to that about you, because I see that even partners that have come and gone, I feel like you're very vivid in their minds, because you leave a very big stamp. And I feel like when you leave a very big hole, because it's like when you walk into a room, if you're not seen, you're felt. And that's, you know, that's there. It's like the sun coming through here really, really strongly. I also feel like you guys, like I said, you guys may work for yourself. You could be like a manager of a company, because I see people looking up to you. Again, there's a lot of creative energy here with the fire. You know, you could be like a dancer, a singer. You could be somebody that's genuinely on stage. You could have a social media presence, because there's almost this like admiration of like a craft and acknowledgement, you being able to stand as like the sun and activate other people, but also your passion for like a craft, or your passion for other people, or your passion for individuality and self-expression. That is something that makes people fall in love with you. Another thing that makes people fall in love with you is the fact that you don't look to anyone to be a cheerleader. It all comes from within. Sometimes we can get into a relationship where, you know, we may have people that may be a bit codependent and may want the other person to validate things to them, or want the, you know, like when you see the Kardashians, and every time they get a new relationship, they morph into the person, like they morph their entire aesthetic and style into the person that they're in a relationship with. You're not like that. You're very like a Rihanna, this is my style and this is the way I move. Like, you don't shift and change it to the trends, and you don't shift and change it to, you know, who you're with at the time. Like, yeah, you could get inspired by them, and yeah, okay, you could take on mannerisms, or, you know, add little things, but you make it your own. And I feel like you do that with anything. Very unique and very forward thinking like that. And there's that feeling like, you don't need me, I'm here because you want me here. You don't need me. And I think that is another thing that makes people fall in love with you, because it's like, they're not just holding on to me for the sake of codependency or for the sake of a relationship. I'm here because they want me here, they like me here, it makes me feel wanted, they see me as part of the vision, and then that makes them fall in love with you as well, because it's like, wow, you know. But you're felt, like the fact that you chose the carnelian stone, which is, you know, connected to the root chakra and grounding us into the physical. It's like, if somebody's, I feel like you may sometimes draw in people that may be, you might not do it anymore, or you may just find some people who try to cling to you, like that may be a bit codependent or a bit more unsure of themselves, because I think you inspire people. You know, you may have even dealt with people that may try and mimic and copy you, because it's like, you know, you have some people where they might not understand themselves to their core, so they look for inspiration, and I think you are a light like that, so people could get drawn there. You're someone as well, there's this vibe of like, there's a kingdom in front of me ready with their swords, and it's just little old me, and I'm like, let's go. And there's almost like something admirable about that. Like, you really believe in yourself before anyone does. That's amazing. You know, you don't need 100 men to prove that you're strong. You're just gonna blow. It's like Daenerys from Game of Thrones. I'm just blowing the fire like a dragon, you know. I don't think she blows fire from her mouth. I still haven't watched it, by the way, but I know that, you know, dragons are associated with it, but I'm just being shown her, and then I'm just being shown like loads of men in front of me, and it's just like boom, fire, like, you know. And I feel bold, like you're bold, and I don't know, you excite people as well. I have to say, you do excite people. I think people get very excited by you, and you know, I feel like you're fun as well. You're very fun. I think people look back on memories with you if they're no longer in your life, and I think they're like, oh, that was a fun time, and we did a lot of fun things. Oh, that was a really fun conversation we had then. That, you know, that I loved having chats with this person. And I think that people that are in your life and that are falling in love with you now, or are already in love with you, or even in, you know, time to come, there's just this vibe of like, we're always doing something. You're always on to something. Even if it's not with me, you're always doing something. That's what I'm picking up here. Pile number 3. What makes people fall in love? We have the Maiden, a new relationship blossoms. You guys could be very romantic as well. Yeah, you could be very romantic too. Let me pop that crystal back for you. Pile number... I also feel like people try to get your attention or try to get you to like them. It's almost like I'm winning something if I can make you like me because you're cool, and that means I'm cool. Yeah, we have seduction, passion, and romance await. There's a new song out called Greedy. It's all over TikTok at the moment. I don't know her name, who sings it, but the lyrics are like, it's obvious that you want me, but I love myself. But I would want myself. Please believe me, I'll put you through hell just to get to know me. It's like a big song on TikTok at the moment, but it's like, I would want myself. It's obvious that you want me, I'd want myself. And I just feel like those lyrics fit here, because it's like, you're your own cheerleader before anyone else. And I think that's quite healthy as well. Passion and romance await. Seduction. Yeah, people feel like they want to woo you. People feel like they want to like romance you. Like there's a lot of like, you're like the shining star. The way your energy is, I'm not gonna lie, it's high maintenance, and it's given me, if you've ever watched the scene of Rihanna walking in Victoria's Secret, I may have told you remind me of Rihanna before, but there's this scene where Rihanna is doing like Victoria's Secret, and she just does this strut better than any of the models there. She just does this walk, and it's just so badass. And I feel like that's you, but the way you make people feel and how they fall in love with you, they see that, and then they feel like, I'm hearing Love Story by Taylor Swift. It's like, you've got me in my feels. And do you know like how she's in her window with the rose? It's like, I'm singing up to you, I'm trying to get your attention, like I've got a little banjo and I'm singing to you, I'm in the crowd like trying to be the number one fan, like that type of vibe. Yeah, so it's like love story, like let me woo you, let me romance you, like I promise I'm worthy. It's that type of vibe here. And I feel like you draw out a lot of passion in people with the seduction card here. I do feel a lot of you are very physically attractive too, and maybe you've had to deal with people that were drawn towards you for lust at sometimes, or for like, you know, they try to love bomb you, and I think that's why you've learn to really have boundaries. Vibe of like, I'm more than this, like you need to get to know me on a deeper level, and you need to be bringing something too, you know. So there's a vibe of that coming through as well. Pile number 3, please, spirit guides, what makes people fall in love with my pile number 3s? We have the hindrance. Fate has blocked this path for you. Okay. And one more card, please, spirit guides. What makes people fall in love with my pile 3s? We have the stars. A long journey brings rewards. I feel like you have people put in a bit of graft to prove that they should be in your life, which fair play. I feel like your boundaries are very solid, and I think that's what causes people to respect you too. And I think it keeps away, you know, the people that are just coming towards you maybe for a bite of your light, or maybe just because they're drawn to you and like trying to love bomb or trying to feed something within themselves. I feel like your boundaries keep you safe from that, because it's like, if you're not going to put effort in the way I know I put effort, don't bother coming in. Because I feel like you do a lot for people in terms of like looking out for people, bigging up people's confidence, like really pouring into people in that way. I think you give a lot of your heart to people. You're very passionate, and I think, you know, there's a level of protection there which is really admirable, and I feel like people are very drawn to that. With the fate has blocked this path for you, I feel like you're very protected like that. And then with a long journey brings rewards, it's like you need to put in graft if you're gonna have, you know, a connection with me. And the back of the deck we have the talisman. You are destined to succeed. Yeah, I feel like there's almost this feeling of, I'm seeing somebody like Daenerys like stood there, and there's like all like people, and it's like, may the best one win, you know, may the best one win. And I see that vibe. So people, there's a respect there, because it's like, I treat myself in a high manner, I'm gonna treat you the same way, so you need to be coming with that same energy, and don't let it slip, because I'm hearing Bodak Yellow by Cardi B, I'm quick to cut someone off, don't get comfortable, you know. So there's that vibe coming through here as well. So yeah, pile number 3, that is what I have for you guys. I really hope that you enjoyed your reading. Hit the thumbs up and comment down below if you did. I'm sending you guys all of my love. I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching. Hey pile 4, welcome to your reading. So we are taking a look at what makes people fall in love with you. So you guys chose the turquoise crystal. I'm going to start with tarot, and then we're going to move on to your oracle cards, so let's get in. So pile number 4, please, spirit guides, tap me into the collective of my pile number 4s. I'm hearing my world would be a wonderland from Alice in Wonderland, and then I'm being shown the labyrinth when she goes into that like bubble, that kind of like world where she has that gown on and she's kind of like dancing. There's like a vibe of that coming through here. I feel like you guys may read a lot, like you could like this, I see somebody's head in a book like reading, or you may have like a very rich inner world. Yeah, there's like a lot, like I feel like your mind, you may have a lot of air in your charts, like Aquarius, Libra and Gemini. There's a lot going on here. You may be somebody that's very philosophical as well. I keep being taken to the 9th house. You could have a like strong like Jupiter influence in your chart, like Sagittarius. I'm really picking that up as well. But let's get in. So pile number 4. What makes people fall in love with my pile number 4s, please? What makes people fall in love with my pile number 4s? I see that you guys are very funny. That's one thing that I'm being shown. Like I feel like you guys, you may be, it could be that you're connected to your inner child, but I just see you guys are just very open to being silly and not taking anything too serious. There's almost something kind of whimsical about you, you know, very light-hearted as well. Pile number 4. What makes people fall in love with my pile number 4s, please? What makes people fall in love? You may also like listen to music that not like isn't very mainstream. You know, you may have like artists that you listen to that people have never heard before, and you put them on because there's almost this feeling of you like opening doors in that way. Or like movies, you know, you could watch movies that aren't very well known. It's like you put people on, and it's the same with like books and stuff as well. There's something about that coming through. Pile number 4, please, spirit guides. What makes people fall in love with my pile number 4s? What makes people fall in love? I keep hearing Purva Palguni, so some of you guys may, you know, your sun, you may have Purva Palguni sun, moon, ascendant, like there's just, well, rising, there's just a feeling of that, like, I keep being shown it, like, and I'm being shown the imagery of it too, because they tend to have, like, very, like, untamed, like, hair, bushy eyebrows, things like that, and that's just come through for me. So some of you guys may have those traits, like very long, untamed hair. You know, you could have very, like, hazily brown eyes. You could have very, like, bushy eyebrows. You could be somebody that's a lot more, like, naturally beautiful. You could... because then I'm being taken to like facial features, and it's unique because there's something very unique about you. So you could have something like pile 3, I was taken to facial features, but I was shown bold. But with you guys, it's not bold, it's unique. So like, you know, like when you hear like doe eyes and siren eyes and things like that, you could have eyes like that. But then I'm hearing like Eugene essence. If you've ever heard of like the style essences, you can have like romantic essence and things like that. You can have romantic essence, you can have dramatic essence, but I feel like you guys have Eugene essence. Like there's something very interesting, or gamine, I think it's called gamine essence. Like, and what I mean by that is you could have a very siren look to you, or a very elven like look to you, or a very fairy like look to you. There's something very unique about your appearance, I feel. That may not be the beauty standards, but it's very beautiful, no matter the gender. Like, that's something that's coming through here. You could have, like, certain colour hair, because I'm thinking of Halle Bailey when she was Ariel, and she had the red hair. So you could have, like, coloured hair. You could do your hair in certain styles. That's very unique. It's not something you'd see every day. Or again, like I was saying, Purva Palguni, you could have very unkept, very wild hair, or very big hair, very curly hair. There's just something about that coming through as well, which is really, really beautiful. I feel like you guys are very beautiful and mesmerizing. Like, I see people staring at you and being like, I don't know why I'm so drawn to this person. And it's just a look about you. It's unique. It's not the way necessarily that you style anything. It's not necessarily the way that you dress or the way you do your makeup. It's you in your natural form. It's like unique, and it's like, I kind of feel like I'm being drawn in like a siren. It's like a fairy that's taken me to Neverland, or a mermaid that's taken me to the bottom of the sea. It's like, I don't know, I want to know more, and that's why I'm here in World Would Be a Wonderland. Alice in Wonderland. It's like I'm being taken on a trip, kind of. And funnily enough, you've got the moon that came out first and foremost. So yeah, some of you guys may work with spirit, but there's something about books here. I don't know if you read a lot. We have the Six of Swords. Pile number 4, please, spirit guides. Pile number 4. What makes people fall in love with my pile number 4s? What makes people fall in love with my pile number 4s? Strength. You may have a lot of dogs. I just got shown a husky, and then it looked like a chow chow. So some of you guys may have a lot of dogs, or you could have a lot of animals. You could, you know, be a vet, or just have a strong love for animals, because there's something about that coming through. And we have the Hermit as well. We have 3 major arcanas here. You have a very strong presence, but it's not loud, if that makes sense. We have the Hanged Man at the back of the deck. You're very intriguing. I feel like you're very careful of who you bring into your world, because you're very intriguing. I feel like you're very careful of who you bring into your world. I feel like you're very careful of who comes into your world, because I keep being shown like somebody being drawn in like by a fairy, but then they kind of went missing, or like the folklore kind of vibe of like are fairies real, are they not? There's kind of a vibe. It could just be your aesthetic, it could just be something you're into, but there's something very like whimsical. You could love Harry Potter and things like that as well. It's just like otherworldly, like the Labyrinth. That's kind of the vibe I'm picking up when I'm tapping into you, and I'm trying to understand what is making people fall in love. But I think it's just your vibe and the energy that you bring to people. And it's almost like there's this vibe of when I come into your world, I'm in your world. It's like a different reality, and I think that's what makes people fall in love, because it's like going through the wardrobe to Narnia, going down the rabbit hole to Wonderland, going into the labyrinth, flying, you know, second star to the right straight on till morning to Neverland. Like it's a different way of looking at things, and you could live a very alternative lifestyle. You could like I'm seeing somebody living on like a ranch, or living on like there's like fields around me, or I live right by the forest, and it's just the way I live is different like than the everyday busy life, you know what I mean? Like I see some of you guys being very natural in the way that you live and keeping it that way, and not, you know, falling into the hustle of 9 to 5s. And even if you are, it's almost like who you are away from your job is different. But it's also like an element of like wonder there. It's like connection to spirit there. Like you could be very sacred with what you eat. You could be very sacred in the way that you style yourself. You could be, you know, the way that you move. Your mornings could look very different, whereas some people could go get a cup of coffee and get a bagel and head to work. Like you guys could be like, I wake up, I go for a swim, like I do this. You could live by a body of water. There's a feeling of elements here. Like some of you guys could live by a body of water. Some of you guys could live near a forest. Some of you guys could live on a cliff. There's something about that, but I could also just be being shown it in a sense of it's a whole vibe, like a whole mood. When I come into your life, it's like I'm learning a lot, and I'm looking at things from a different perspective, and I'm in another world. It's like Wendy following Peter. It's like you know, Eric following Ariel. Like there's that sort of vibe here, you know. Yeah, 100%. And I feel like at first it almost is like this allure in who is this person. Then I feel like as people get deeper, it's like the more down the Wonderland I go, the more you could like spill truths. Like you could be so, like very philosophical and just be like, the world isn't what you think it is. Like you could be like Morpheus from the Matrix and just spill a lot of truths about life. Again, it could just be you live a completely different lifestyle to the people that would fall in love with you. So it's like this is different and I like it. That's kind of what I'm picking up here, you know. It's like when the humans go to Pandora in Avatar, it's a different world, different way of being. They're more deeper, they're seeing things differently. I feel like that's what makes people fall in love, because it's like it's not just you, it's the whole perception, it's the whole vibe. And I was drawn here, you know, because it's like you're activating that within me too. I also feel like you're a bit of a wild card. You may travel a lot. You could be somebody that travels. Again, you could be very connected to spirit. You could evolve and grow a lot. But I feel like there's this vibe of you being a wild child or a wild card and doing your own thing and dancing to the beat of your own drum and not being told what to do in that instance. You know, there's a vibe of that as well. And again, the Hermit, it's like I'm finding my wisdom within and moving forward in that way. And there's something very dreamy about you too, because I'm hearing R.E.M. by Ariana Grande. Boy, you're such a dream to me. Like, I feel very drawn in. I think you have people look at things in a deeper way and in a different outlook, which to some may sound mystical, you know, it's like we're heading to Hogwarts sort of thing. Yeah, the Hanged Man, the back of the deck. Some of you guys may be connected to spirit. I find a lot of my collective are. But yeah, some of you guys may be connected to spirit. I feel like the way you dress may be quite like quirky or different, or you may just, again, not follow trends. You're very headstrong, but it's not in a bold way. It's like I'm Luna Lovegood from Harry Potter, and I'm just kind of skipping around Hogwarts by myself and I'm doing my own thing. Pile 3 was very like, I'm headstrong, boom, I'm here. You're like, I'm headstrong and now I'm flying into the forest, you know? I swear I just heard one of my cats. It's like I'm headstrong, I'm fluttering into the forest sort of vibe, you know? I feel like you also don't look for outside validation too, which is another thing. Why is the 6 of Swords here though, before I go any further? Yeah, there's this feeling of 6 of Swords, like I'm leaving it all behind. I'm not tied to or anchored into speaking a certain way, looking a certain way, just because society says this is how I'm supposed to be. I do my own thing. You've been told this set of logic is right, but if you follow me to Neverland, if you follow me here, you will see that there's another way to do it, sort of thing. So let's untangle, because like I'm thinking of in Avatar when Jake Sully decides to become one of the Na'vi and stay in Pandora, he has to let go of his human conditioning and how he once moved to take on the traits of Pandora. So I feel like there's a vibe of that, like we can do things a different way and it's more raw, you know. That's coming through as well. You may have very strong spiritual beliefs, so you could just be very connected to spirit and move in that way. So it's like, I want to activate that too. I want to learn more about that too. It's really interesting. You could also move about on your own a lot. You could be, you know, a bit of a lone wolf and you just move on your own until the right person kind of comes along, because there's no need for anyone. It's like I'm on a journey. One of my friends on Instagram sent me a song the other day called Wonderland, and I'm going to use it as your channeled song because I feel like you take a lot from that song the way I did. So I'm going to pop it in the description box for you. The song's called Wonderland. I can't remember the name of the people who sing it, but it's really beautiful and I think you'd really like it. It's almost like I want to know where you go, whether it's in the mind and, you know, reading and watching movies, or actually on adventures. You could be somebody that's very outdoorsy. It's like, I want to go where you go. I want to follow you. I want to follow your mind. I want to follow where you head. And it's like, that's what's making me fall in love. I'm hearing the Jhené Aiko song, While We're Young. And she's like, I'll go everywhere you go. It's like wanting to, you know, follow somebody on their own little trips. The Oracle, seek wisdom and guidance from elders. You could be that pile where I'm like, you remind me of Dumbledore, you remind me of Gandalf, like you give me the wise elder vibes. Pile 4, that's what you give me. You could travel as well. I see a lot of stories, and you know, you could be on the go. Again, Sagittarius energy. The Caduceus, you will receive news from afar. Pile number 4, what makes people fall in love? We have the Moon. You will be guided through darkness. You also could like be somebody that's awake all night and then sleeps through the day. You could also be somebody that does that as well. Let me pop these up here. We have the Green Man, the forces of nature favor you. Yeah, there's something about nature here. I feel like you guys are very naturistic. You could have very natural features. You could have a lot of Taurus in your chart, natural beauty. That's another thing. I'm picking up on like the Fae and like the gnomes and the stone people and the dragons and the giants. Like I'm picking up a lot of the different realms. You could be very connected to the different realms on Earth, which then you may read then a lot of folklore, get into that a lot as well. There's a strong Fae reference. I was speaking with someone in my emails the other day about Scotland and the connection to Fae there. because I'm from Wales, so we have a lot of that here as well. So I was speaking about that. You could be Scottish, you could be Welsh, hello if you are, but that's something that I'm picking up too. The back of the deck, we have the hourglass, time is of the essence. Interesting. I feel like when people are with you as well, they lose track of time. That's another thing. I feel like people lose track of time. I see somebody camping with you and you just saying stories and talking about things. I feel very rooted. I'm looking at life in a different way. Very grounded, very earthy. Again, I do feel there's a connection to spirit here with the seek wisdom and guidance from elders, and you will receive news from afar. There's a vibe of that. Like, I just feel like, again, it's like Dumbledore, Gandalf, I'm coming to you, and you're like an oracle. You're helping me see things from a different perspective. Like, that's something coming through. You will receive news from afar. You will be guided through darkness. The forces of nature favor you. I feel like you may work with very strong deities, or you may work with beings from different realms. There's a vibe of that. Or again, if you just genuinely are near a body of water, you respect water and you're around it, naturally you're going to have water spirits respecting you and connected to you and working with you in some ways. Same with, nature in the forest, with like tree nymphs and the tree beings and stuff, like the fae. They're going to be connected to you then in that way, so you may work with them. There's just something very enchanted about you. Especially with me seeing the labyrinth as I came in. I almost felt like people feel like they're going into another world, like Sarah did with Jared when she goes into that ballroom with that song. It's one of my favorite scenes of any movie ever, but you just feel like that. And again, I feel like you may put people onto certain movies, certain books, certain like folklore stories and tales and stuff, and I feel like that's another thing that makes people feel very drawn to you. People feel like you're the White Rabbit and they're Alice, and it's like you're helping me enter a whole new world, sort of thing. So pile 4, that is what came through for you. It went a different way than I expected, but that was what came through. I had to honor it, so I really hope that resonated for you. Hit the thumbs up and comment down below if it did. I'm sending you guys all of my love. I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching. Like I said, I'll have the link to Princess Tasha's video in my description box. You can head over there after this one. Sending you guys all my love, and hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching.